These days, you see a lot of photos on social media of men and women who, by doing special face exercises, have dramatically changed the shape of their faces. And it looks so striking that many people think it's fake or photoshopped. Today, as an osteopathic doctor, I want to figure out whether these exercises really have such a powerful effect or if it's all fake. I'm Dr. Alesh, and today we'll break down the mewing technique, and I'll also talk about other exercises that can improve the shape of your face and make it more attractive. What do you think? Is it possible to achieve this with just one exercise, or is it all Photoshop? I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Write your answers in the comments. So, what is mewing? Mewing is the surname of a well-known orthodontist who specializes in bite alignment and the study of the upper and lower jaw. During his observations, he noticed that the position of the tongue affects how the upper and lower jaws develop, as well as a person's bite. He developed a technique. Using the tongue, he was able to correct the position of the upper jaw. And as a result of this technique, the shape of the face changed significantly. You can actually find a lot of before and after results. How does mewing work? How does this happen? So if you look at someone whose upper and lower jaws are set back, you'll notice that their face looks less attractive visually. You can see that a narrow, small jaw creates a double chin, and not only that. Let's see more. You see, there's no jawline contour, because a face looks attractive when there's a defined jawline and prominent cheekbones. When the upper and lower jaws are set back, we don't see those prominent cheekbones. We see that the lower jaw kind of sinks inward, right? And there's no jawline contour. At the same time, we can see that the head is jutting forward. In other words, you can see the head shifting forward. And when working with the upper jaw, you can notice that more prominent cheekbones appear, as well as a more defined chin and jawline. Overall, the proportions of the face become more harmonious. In other words, this face becomes more attractive. That's exactly why people say the upper jaw is the bone of beauty. It's also called the maxilla. This situation arises, first of all, because the person didn't breathe through their nose, since nasal breathing plays a big role, and it's also connected to the position of the tongue. Where is the tongue positioned? Because if a person breathes through their nose, normally their tongue is pressed more against the palate. If a person breathes more through their mouth, then their tongue is down, and as a result, the upper jaw develops incorrectly. And on top of all that, issues with the spine or certain skull injuries, even those that happen in childhood, can also contribute to this. Birth injuries. This can lead to, well, problems with skull development. The upper and lower jaw. So here, the lower jaw, do you see how small it is? A double chin appears. Here, after doing the exercises, a clear outline of the lower jaw appears. And the upper jaw, you see, it kind of moved forward. So if here it kind of droops downward, here it has become more horizontal. In other words, the face becomes more attractive. The cheekbones become more defined. Why does this happen? Look, when the tongue is down and the upper and lower jaws are in the wrong position, you see, the whole face kind of sags downward. So the lower jaw droops downward and the upper jaw droops downward as well. But if the position is correct, the upper jaw lifts up and you see the tip of the nose becomes more defined and the contour of the lower jaw appears as well. The thing is, the skull isn't just one bone, it's made up of many bones. As an osteopath, I talk about this all the time because if you look at the skull, you'll see that different bones are marked in different colors. And there are joints between them. Here's the lower jaw, and here's the upper jaw. If we take a closer look at what's here, you'll see there are many joints. The bones themselves are actually movable. And as an osteopath who developed my own natural rejuvenation system, faceplasty method, which corrects facial shape, I also constantly observe that with age, the skull can change, asymmetries can appear, and the skull can shift from a more elongated shape to a rounder one. And this is due to the fact that, under the influence of certain tensions, tightness, or weakness in specific muscles, the positions of these bones relative to each other change. And that's exactly what's shown here. You see, here is the frontal bone, this is the sphenoid bone, and here are the upper and lower jaws. You see, even during the process of mewing, if you properly keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth and push your upper jaw upward, the positions of the bones actually change. Of course, this doesn't happen in just one day, but if you practice the technique regularly, certain changes and shifts can really occur in the sutures between the bones. Mewing really does have a profound meaning. And considering that the tongue is a powerful muscle, and with your tongue you can apply pressure, constantly exerting pressure on the upper jaw, so, by pressing with your tongue, you can lift the upper jaw that has dropped down. So, if your face starts to look sunken, your cheekbones aren't prominent, and your lower jaw isn't well defined, it means your upper jaw has dropped. You need to lift it. And with the mewing technique, by working with your tongue, you can constantly apply upward pressure, which will gradually change your upper jaw from a sunken shape to a more lifted one. You see, when the upper jaw is lifted, the cheekbones become more pronounced. And we have techniques to move the upper jaw forward. This is specifically to relieve tension in these sutures, to eliminate dysfunction, and then the upper jaw moves forward. And if there is facial asymmetry, like one eye being smaller than the other, or if the jaw is more pronounced on one side than the other, this can be corrected. In general, I am a supporter of mewing. And really, by using your tongue, you can influence the upper jaw by applying pressure. You can correct it, and your face will become more attractive. In faceplasty, there are many techniques for working with the skull, for working with each individual bone. You can even see, for example, that there is facial asymmetry here. Yes, a pronounced facial asymmetry. As you perform faceplasty techniques, even by the end of the first month, you can see that the face becomes more harmonious. Take a look at the eye sockets, right? They become more even. Look at the cheekbones, at what level they are, and the lower jaw. If you look at the eyes, one eye is bigger, the other is smaller. The ear. See, one ear sticks out, and the other one isn't visible at all. Look at the cheekbones. This side is more pronounced, fuller, and this one is less so. The lower jaw. So, this is also related to the fact that the bones of the skull can change their shape. Many of you might say, if this technique solves everything, then why go to the orthodontist? To correct your bite? Honestly, mewing won't help if you already have serious bite problems or serious issues with the temporomandibular joint, you know. You need to see specialists, an orthodontist dentist, an osteopath, and work on it with them. Mewing works well if you have posture problems or if you want to make your face more attractive, like making your cheekbones more defined. Mewing handles that perfectly. If we compare mewing to plastic surgery, we need to understand what exactly are we comparing, because in certain cases, plastic surgery will be much more effective than mewing or other exercises. But in some situations, mewing can actually be a more effective and safer tool. Although I believe that mewing is best combined with faceplasty exercises. Why? With language you can certainly do a lot, but not everything. There is a set of special exercises that work with the entire facial skeleton and all the chewing muscles. And by combining these with the mewing technique, you can significantly improve your results. And without surgery, you can adjust the shape of your face, correct asymmetries, make your cheekbones and upper jaw more defined, bring your lower jaw forward, and even create a lifting effect. Plastic surgery, of course, will be more effective if you need to make your nose narrower and more attractive, if you want to widen your eyes, that is, to adjust your eyelids, or if there are already severe, pronounced facial deformities. In these cases, plastic surgery will definitely be more effective. But in all other cases, faceplasty exercises combined with mewing can completely replace plastic surgery. How do you perform the mewing technique? Look, the tongue, in its normal position, should be pressed against the palate. When you do the mewing technique, you close your mouth so that your teeth are just barely touching. Next, with the tip of your tongue, you move it slightly back from your upper teeth and press both the tip and the body of your tongue against the palate so that you get an effect. And you are training your ability to keep your tongue on the upper palate for as long as possible. When you hold your entire tongue, including the body, against the palate, you feel pressure. First of all, you'll notice that the floor of your mouth kind of pulls in and your double chin disappears. But at the same time, you feel pressure on your palate. Your task is to keep pushing upward against the palate with your tongue, and the bones of your upper jaw and other facial bones start to align too, which makes your face look way more defined. So look, you place the tip of your tongue behind your teeth and press it there. When I press my upper jaw, when I press my tongue to the palate, the floor of my mouth tightens up. Basically, you just stick your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Your whole tongue is positioned up here on the palate. So that's basically the technique. You do it for 15 to 30 minutes every day, and after a few months you'll see results. You just tried this technique and probably didn't get instant results. Even though this technique works, you need to practice it for a long time to achieve great results. That's why I recommend combining it with faceplasty techniques, which give instant results. Combining faceplasty and mewing gives a much better effect. You can completely change your face shape on my course, which I give on my educational platform for beauty and health. Click link in bio. So I definitely recommend subscribing. This was Dr. Alesh with you. See you next time.